Hey, let's talk about Kawhi going to Toronto now, the possibility. It's funny though because like one of my boys asked me yesterday, like, did I think if Kawhi never left Toronto in the first place, would they have went back to the championship, to the NBA Finals? I honestly don't think they would have. You know what I mean? I feel like the first time around when he was traded to Toronto, he didn't want to be there. Let's be honest, he didn't want to be there. It was one of those things where he's leaving San Antonio. Initially, I believe he's from California. So he went to San Antonio, hot, and then he got traded to Toronto. I said, yo, bro, that's a different climate change now. And then I think once he did what he had to do, he brought the country a championship. You feel me? That's something that you can't just like knock. So I know there's some Raptors fans out there who was all like, well, why would you leave? And it's like, bro, he didn't want to be in Toronto to begin with, really, the first time around. And it's one of those things where, like, man, you can't even fault him. I feel like you have to show love to Kawhi no matter what, because again, he brought the country a championship. Not the city, but the whole country was behind that championship. So it's one of those things where, to answer his question was, did I think if he would have stayed, they would have been able to build some type of dynasty going forward? They had Pascal, who was young at the time. They had Van Vliet, who was young at the time. Kyle Lowry was the best, so he was I think he was going to kind of part ways at some point either way. Who else did they have on that team? They had Norman Paul, who was a guy, a good role player. Who else on that team? They had Gasol. Who else was on that damn championship team? I don't remember off the top of my head. But all that to say, I feel like, remember, like, again, I'm Canadian, bro. I understand the love we have for Toronto. I don't think we're even winning that series if KD doesn't get hurt. I'm going to be honest. If they had a full roster, I don't know if we would be in Golden State that year. So to even say we would have doubled back and repeated and been back to the finals if Kawhi stayed, I don't think so, bro. I think Golden State would have got healthier, and I just don't think we would have got back. That was a great year for Toronto. I think I compare that Toronto championship to the Knicks championship this past year. Magical run. And yeah, I just feel like the difference between that Knicks team this year and the Toronto team was, I don't think there was expectations to get to the finals for Toronto when they did. Like this year, I feel like there was expectations for the Knicks to get to the finals because they got to the Eastern Conference last year. So I think I understand why everyone felt, yeah, they're going to do it again this year. And it was great to see that they closed the deal, but it was one of those things where it was almost expected. Whereas in Toronto, it was kind of a magical playoff run the entire time. So going back to now where we are today with Kawhi wanting out to be traded to Toronto or Detroit, that's a blessing, I feel, by default as any Toronto fan. I'm not even a Raptors fan, by the way. I'm just Canadian, so I feel like you just have to root for them low-key. But it's one of those things where it's like, I think it's only going to benefit because I think they're going to be able to get Kawhi while keeping Scotty, which is going to be impressive because then you're going to have two defensive menaces on the court. Whereas when the first time around, it was really Kawhi handling it all defensively. The boxer one, everyone remembers that game against Giannis, and Nick Nurse, and how he kind of schemed up that going down 2-0 in that series to win it 4-2. But all that to say, I think him going back to the East now, yeah, I think that can be a problem. I think that's gonna, again, Toronto went to 7 this time around with that core. So you add a superstar like Kawhi with his defensive presence, with his offensive shot making ability, coming off a season where he played one of the most games he finally ever played all year. I think it can only benefit the Raptors. I hope they pull the trigger. But even if he goes to Detroit, well, that can also be a very scary move. Him and Cade, because Cade had no help in the playoff run as well. So I think wherever Kawhi goes, either Toronto or Detroit, if he goes to one of those two places, I think he's going to elevate that team, and I think they're going to give that team an instant chance in the East. Let me know what you guys think down below. If you think if Kawhi goes to Toronto, if Toronto has a real shot or not. If Kawhi goes to Detroit, if they have a real shot or not. Or I don't think there's even a third option team. I think those are the two teams that he wants to go to, and I think he's going to sign an extension right off the bat. So that'll be blessed for all parties. So let me know what y'all think. But that's just my thoughts.